In a 2019 study of 2,000 Americans, over half the respondents said they would become a content creator or an influencer given the opportunity. This is something I came across in a book I've read recently, and it's called Accidental Influencer. So it looks like being a content creator is the dream job for a lot of people. But is it really all sunshine and rainbow? For 13 years, I worked in a setting where working from home was simply not in the picture. And then in my year of sabbatical, this channel became a project that I was very fortunate to be able to work on from home. Now I started doing YouTube even when I was working full-time anyway, but in the last year, I was able to spend more time on it than before. So I guess I've kind of experienced both ends of the spectrum, if you will. And today, I want to give you a bit of insight about the work of content creation. One thing that I found absolutely refreshing was the flexibility and how you can really plan your personal schedule around your work. You don't have to show up at 9 in the morning if you have a personal emergency or if you're unwell. And I think that is especially important for people like new mothers, people who love to travel, and so on. As someone who worked a 9 to 5 for years, I found the freedom to be very exciting, at least for a while. Before I started making videos, I had no idea that a 10-minute video would take such a long time to make. I know it might seem like we just turn on the camera and talk for 10 minutes, but that's not really it. If you factor in the time to look for ideas, film, edit, and so on, we are talking about many hours of work. But even though it is time consuming, I must say this is a lot less stressful than my day job. Another thing about creating content is that you might feel like you need to be always doing something, whether if it's posting on Instagram, making another blog post, or doing filming. Whereas if you go to work, there's a clear line between work and home, hopefully. For example, when I leave my surgery, I can no longer take an x-ray, take a tooth out, or do any other clinical work. So in a way, I have no choice but to separate myself from work in my personal time. In contrast, when you work from home, it's hard to set the boundary because technically your home is your office, so you can always reply to an email, look for video ideas, and you name it. This is especially true for channels that focus on vlogging. Honestly, I have so much respect for those people because you really need to stay on top of filming everything you do to make sure you have enough content. What more, we now live in a world where people really glamorize hustle culture, so it can make you feel like you need to capitalize every moment and everything you do in your life. This means you might even feel guilty for taking a break because if you have access to work, why not just work, right? And to give you an example, we went to Paris Disneyland last year. We had a good time, but in the back of my head, I was always thinking about filming the trip. And of course, for me to be in the shot, my husband had to be the cameraman. So a few months later, when we went to Malaysia, I decided to not do as much filming because I just really wanted to be present and enjoy the moment with my family. Something else that I think a lot of content creators can relate to is the fatigue associated with their niche. And I think it's normal to feel this way occasionally, even if you are very passionate about your topic. I mean, think about it. If you are always talking about the same things and researching about the same topics, it can start to feel a little mind-numbing or a bit too much. After all, every person is not just one thing because our identity can have so many different facets. So even if you love fashion, you might feel like you don't just want to talk about fashion. But here's the thing, your audience probably did sign up for fashion-related content. And so you might worry how your audience might respond if you branch out or make irrelevant videos. I'm not sure if any of you know Ali Abdul. His channel is mostly about productivity. Now this guy has a massive following, so you would think he has all the creative freedom in the world. But even he said he feels like he can only focus on the topic of productivity because when he talks about something else, the video just doesn't perform as well. And like I said before, I recently read the book Accidental Influencer, and in the book, the author mentioned a luxury creator called Kelly. According to Kelly, everything she does has to be luxury related because she doesn't want to tarnish her brand. This means every Instagram post has to be strictly luxury related, including where she eats, what she wears, and the places she goes. Now, the book didn't reveal who Kelly really is, but the point is, Kelly might love luxury, but she might also enjoy certain non-luxury things, but she doesn't feel like she can share those things. Now, business-wise, it makes a lot of sense to zero in on one niche because that way you'll stand out as the fashion influencer, the minimalism influencer, or the productivity influencer. Essentially, it means you are more likely to get business opportunities with brands in your niche because you have such a well-defined image. Personally, I like to talk about different topics, including personal finance, luxury content, life, travel, and so on. This is probably not the smartest move business-wise, but I feel like when I mix things up, this project feels a lot more enjoyable and in the long run is also more sustainable compared to if I focus on just one topic. In fact, please let me know if you like content creators sharing different things on their accounts. Do you feel like you know them better as a person that way? Or do you prefer accounts that are more curated and polished? Next, let's talk about sponsored videos. Now, I'm very fortunate to have a very supportive community, but here on YouTube, some people tend to have a slight distaste for sponsored videos, even if the blogger genuinely enjoys the product. For example, I previously worked with Skillshare and I still very much recommend it because it's where I learned about digital illustration. Till this day, I'm ever so grateful to have found a passion and I've even started working on an illustration project. But I feel like when I talk about the service in a sponsored context, some people don't respond as well just because the video is sponsored. But if I say the same thing without being sponsored, I tend to receive a lot more welcoming questions about it. Now, this is just a personal observation about the sentiment of sponsored videos, but I'm absolutely not diminishing the perks of being a content creator. At the end of the day, we get to choose who to work with and what kind of content to post. One thing I started doing a while ago is reaching out to brands that I'm already using, especially if I know it will benefit my viewers. For example, I've been using a cashback service for years and I've saved thousands of pounds because of it. So I decided to reach out to the company to see if they would like to work together. In terms of PR gifts, I'm usually very selective because when you receive something free, you are kind of expected to showcase it in one way or another, and that takes time. So typically, I turn down 95% of the PR gifts unless if it's something that I'll actually use in my daily life. Another question is, will this be a long-term gig? Now, just like any other freelance work, social media work comes with fluctuating incomes and expenses. So if you solely rely on that, it can feel quite scary, especially if you're used to getting a stable paycheck every month. And I think that's why a lot of successful creators now try to diversify by selling merchandise, writing a book, creating courses, and so on. And I think it makes sense. After all, why put all your eggs in one basket? Because if you think about it, you are essentially building a business on someone else's platform. So if one day YouTube or Instagram is gone, then what? In fact, your business could very well be impacted just because YouTube or Instagram decide to change their algorithm. I have an Instagram account for illustration work, and I've seen artists who sadly had to close down their account because their business simply wasn't sustainable anymore after Instagram changed their algorithm. Now, I know some people have achieved amazing things on social media, but just like everything else in life, it might not work out the same for everyone. So my point is, whether if you work a 9 to 5, freelance or own your own business, there might not be a job that is perfect in every single way. As a content creator or a freelancer, you get to work flexible hours. You don't have to sit in rush hour traffic and you get to choose who to work with. But the flip side is your income might not be as stable. You have to be really tactful with your sponsored content, and the job itself can also feel a little bit isolating after a while. Meanwhile, with a 9 to 5, you might feel a lack of control in terms of your time and location. There might be office politics, and you might not get along with your team. But the pros are stable paychecks, social interaction, a sense of structure, and maybe even healthcare insurance. When I was working my 9 to 5, I used to really fantasize the life of working from home. But when I finally had the opportunity to try it out myself, I missed the sense of normalcy provided by my day job. So now I'm back to working part-time, and so far I'm really enjoying the balance because this way I get to play with my creativity when doing my content creation work, but I'm also able to maintain my professional skill set. Let me know if you've ever considered a career change or maybe leaving your 9 to 5 for a freelance endeavor. And that's it from me today. Thank you so much for being here. Take care, and I'll see you soon.